Alright, as part of the SQL50 series, I want to pick up this students and examinations as the next problem. Even though it's under the easy category, I feel like it has one of the most important concepts in SQL that you will end up using daily, right? Here's the question. So you have three tables in this question: students, subjects, and examinations. Let's just go through each table. So students has two columns: student ID and student name. Student ID is the primary key, and each row of this table contains the ID and the name of one student in the school, right? And subjects is a simple table with just one column, where subject name, which is the primary key, and it just contains the name of one subject. Each row contains the name of one subject in the school. But this table, examinations, has no primary key, right? So it just has student ID and subject name, and it may contain duplicates. So each student from the students table takes every course from the subjects table, and each row of this table indicates that a student with ID, student ID, attended the exam of subject name, right? So a given student could have attended a given subject name multiple times, so there are going to be duplicates that are allowed as well, right? So what we've have to find out is write a solution to find the number of times each student attended each exam, right? So this table should be ordered by student ID and subject name. So let's just take an example, right? So students table has these four students, and there are three subjects. And if you see the examinations table, there's student ID 1 who has taken all these exams, right? Math, physics, programming twice over here. Okay, sorry, this is student ID 2. So student ID 1 has taken math, physics, and physics again over here, and math again over here, and at the end you can see math again over here. So student ID 1 has taken math totally 3 times and physics twice, right? So the output would be student ID 1, Alice, math 3, student ID 1 again, physics 2, and programming 1. And the important part to kind of notice here is that, let me just expand this. If there is no kind of attempt by a student for a particular subject, we have to give the result as 0 for that row. So basically every student should have every subject name and the total attended exams, which can be 0 as well, right? So if there is no exam, you can't just omit that row. So here Bob attended 0 exams in physics, but we can't just not include this row. This row has to be included. And I guess this is where this problem becomes a little tricky, and it's worth kind of discussing and solving it. Alright, let's try solving this. And the way I want to write the solution also is probably not the most concise way of writing this. I want to kind of use as many things or tools as possible and get a good overall understanding. So let me start writing a simple select query from students. So we can include the final set of columns later. Students, and all I want is to get the total number of attempts or number of times given student ID has attended a given examination. So then it makes sense to just join with examinations, right? So I want to just join students with examinations and student ID and get the count. So if I do that with a simple left join, because students has student ID as unique and examinations does not, it doesn't need to have any of these, either of the columns unique. Now what I need to do, instead of left joining directly with examinations, I can prepare subset of data with my aggregated outcome. So for example, if you have one student ID here for 1, I want to have the aggregation that I need already prepared in this subquery. For example, so I have Alice 1, math 3. So I want this to be kind of already prepared so that I can later join it with students and get all the students with all the subject names. Alright, so let me just show what I'm trying to do here. Instead of left join directly with examinations, I'm going to go ahead with selecting student ID and subject name from examinations, right? And I want to get, for each student ID and for each subject name, I want to get the number of times they've attended that exam, which is literally just the group by on these two columns, right? So the count for each combination of these two columns. So I can just take a count here as attended or something like that, which makes sense, right? So from examinations, and I have to group by these two columns, right? Group by 1, 2 in this case. This subquery would basically give me the count for each combination of student and subject. And if I can call this AGGT for aggregated table, I can use this to later join with students. Now, why am I trying to do a left join on this is that if you see over here, you would notice that you will need every possible combination of student and subject name to be in your result set, right? Even though Bob did not take any physics exam, we have to kind of formulate this row, or prepare this row and give it 0 as attended exams. So if you want that, you will obviously have to have the actual parent data set where you have all the students and all the subjects, right? Now, since we have left join here and students over here, this would still not have all the subjects, right? Because if we have a subject name in examinations, only then will that result in our complete data set. So what I need to do is first have all the students and all the subjects ready as a Cartesian product. So here I would say cross join subjects. So here I have a prepared data set of every student with every subject, right? So all I need to do is take a cross join so that I have, for Alice, for example, all 3 of these ready here even before I do the left join, so that even if the left join examinations aggregated T table doesn't have that subject, we still have that included here. So this is kind of a base data set that we have to kind of get ready with all the subjects and all the students. So that is why we are going with cross join, and this is kind of the highlight of this problem, I would say, because without this subjects cross joined over here, you would there's no way you can get all the subjects if they are not there in examinations, right? Because students doesn't have any subject information, and examinations has only those subjects that were attended by the student, but we need the subjects that were not attended as well by a given student ID. So that is why we're going with cross join. I hope this is kind of clear. I wanted to kind of take this problem to highlight this concept. Now that this is done, what is going to happen now is that you have students and subjects cross joined and left joined with this, right? So we have to kind of give the left join condition over here, which will be on student ID and subject name, right? So let me just do that quickly. And before I go ahead, I want to kind of print out each sub component like I said, so that we know exactly what's going on. So let me just comment this out and just select the parts that I want. So I can do that by commenting this out, and I can comment this out as well, so that I can just run this part and see what is going on here. One math 3, 13 programming 1. So this is giving me the count for each student ID and each subject name, and of course this will still have duplicates. Okay, but what we need is this joined with this. So let me just uncomment these and show you what happens after the join. So let's just select star from this and see what we have so far, right? Let me run this. But here you're going to see null wherever there was no exam taken up by that student, right? So this is what we need to kind of handle and convert this null to 0. That's what we want to do, right? So let's just write, instead of select star over here, all we need to do is first get the ID and student name. You can get that directly from students, student ID, and the student name, because we need these two. And we also want the subject name, and let's take that from subjects. And now for the attended exams, the count, right? That's the fourth column that we want. Instead of taking the exact attended exams, what we want to do is make this 0 wherever it's null, right? So to handle that, we can obviously use COALESCE. So what COALESCE does, it takes the first non-null parameter you give inside the parenthesis. So if you have attended exams.0, what it does is whenever attended exams is null, it'll go with the second parameter, which is 0 over here. So this will give us attended exams. So this is what will give us kind of that 0 wherever you have no exams attended for a given subject name. So let me just change this as well. Instead of this, I can give it 1,3 because I want it to ordered by student ID and subject name, if you see the original problem statement. Now let's see if this is right. Let me run this. Okay, so this seems to be correct, right? So if you come down and see the result, what we're doing is with student ID 1, Alice, math 3. And whenever there was no exam, in this case, Bob and physics has 0 attended exam. We're getting this 0 only because of the cross join that we implemented here and the COALESCE with 0 for attended exams.